just to dip my toes back in the water, I'm going to go through 2 YouTube tutorials that I had previously found and get reacquainted with some.
So, it's been a while. I've started a family, now 2 kids deep. I have a professional career, and I'm steadily but surely placing my hand upon that next rung of a ladder that looks oddly corporate. But I'm still learning, still meandering my way through the old forest of this Devlog's tale, and it's possible I've already met the bombadil of this story, but the road ahead is long. The days just fly by and life changes. I've changed. Each moment pulling me further from the man I was when I started this journey. But one thing that doesn't change, one thing that hasn't changed, is my deep desire to make games. So let's review what I've learned from my 2 coaches, Brackeys and Infenzia. And I'll come back to Invenzia's breakout game tutorial at the end, but I started with my dear friend Brackeys on how to make a game. And I followed it step by step. I made a cube, I made a fly, I wrote some code, and in the end, I had pretty much created exactly what he told me to create. I mean, I changed the colors to make it my own, and oh yeah, I added a monkey. He's so cute. And the best part is it works exactly as intended. But that was pretty much it. I'm a game developer now, and my journey is complete. So if you want to buy my game, you can head on over to Steam or the Epic Games Store. You can search for my game. It only costs about $1 million per play. Hope you have a lot of quarters. I really like the arcade style format for buying games. It just makes so much more sense to me as far as a profit margin as a developer.
I decided to do more.
And so to personalize my version of Bracky's game, I decided I would start with a monkey. And maybe he's in a jungle, with planes flying around his head, and wait, where have I seen this before? Right, okay, so wrong jungle. Now where was I? Oh yeah, a monkey, in a jungle, with a rocket. Perfect. And then I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool if this monkey, holding on for dear life to an AWOL rocket flying dangerously close to too far many flammable objects in some forsaken, long-forgotten jungle, could be saved by landing in a giant pile of bananas? Yeah. So, bananas. Bananas. And then we'll add some wind to make it look like he's going really fast, because he's on a rocket. I say this like I'm actually doing game development right now and not dreamboarding on an ancient Photoshop element canvas from last century. And doot, doot, doot. Add in some blocks to represent our jungle obstacles from our original game design, and voila! We have our basic level design all figured out, which everyone knows is a key part of any game development journey. Squish. Just watch out for those obstacles. And speaking of obstacles, that brings me to this week's sponsor. My empty wallet. Just kidding. I don't have a wallet. But what I do have now is a perfect segue into a montage of internet clips on game design. Enjoy!
Level design is where all the work from the team comes together and is given a place in the game.
This is Rand Miller from Cyan, co-creator of Mist and Riven. Is there anything that makes the world a better place in what I'm doing, or am I just building a chest of drawers?
When I play a game, I am kind of a little obsessed by the environment. The environment itself of that place, if it's a good game, becomes the character.
To put it simply, level design is about how things play, whereas level art is more about how things look.
We would want all the devs to be testing the combat. If it doesn't feel good in a fully fledged environment, that means we need to tweak things.
But as time has passed and I started making my own games, I've realized just how important game design really is.
The term was first coined, as far as I can tell, by former Disneyland designer Don Carson, who wrote an influential article in 2000 about what game developers can learn from theme parks, where they described the technique as staging player space with environmental properties that can be interpreted as a meaningful whole, furthering the narrative of the game.
that good level design is fun to navigate.
So, with good game design principles in mind, let's implement our plan. First, let's get rid of this boring cube he's clutching onto. Oh, and I chose Momo from the Unity Asset Store because he was the only free monkey option available, but as cute as he is, and as fun as it is to watch him topple over himself in this green foggy void that I've created, he's not quite matching the aesthetic I'm going for here. So, I looked around some and eventually found this over on opengameart.org, and it's not a monkey per se, but given my options, I'll compromise some of the details of my original plan in order to remain closer to my overall vision. Next, I found this nice little rocket collection on Unity's Asset Store for free, so I selected one and plopped it in there. And before you know it, my little game was beginning to look a little more fun to navigate. Don't you think? And now this is the part of the tale where I began to understand exactly what the term scope creep meant, and just how my hero David Wheeler must have felt when he said,
I practiced with the Unity UI systems, the animation window, the light mapping, everything. I probably Googled a million different questions. I was able to figure it out slowly but steadily.
Because I started venturing off the beaten path of Brackeys' How to Make a Game by exploring things like animation rigging, and all just to make Lenny, my little lemur lad, appear to be desperately clutching the rocket instead of T-posing his way through life. But that's just how game development goes sometimes. You go down a little rabbit hole, you learn something new, and then you trash everything to start a new, more exciting project because now you're smarter, more informed, and far more handsome than you were before. No, focus. Finish what you started first. You can do this. I believe in you. Lastly, regarding my obstacles, blocks are fun and all, for children and adults, but in keeping with the theme, I needed something a little more invigorating, sensational, exhilarating. Introducing Axel, the average alligator. Rawr. Or is that a crocodile? Introducing Calvin, the cranky Well, looks like funding from this week's sponsor has run out. I guess I'll have to tell you more about it all next time. But before I go, I mentioned Infenzia. The long and short of it is this. I considered following his tutorial as well, and then fleshing it out with a garden theme in which you play as a bee breaking bricks to get to the flower you need to pollinate, but decided the amount of effort that would all take was probably more than it was worth. I did learn about the concept of a game manager, a file known as a singleton that basically works like the CEO of your game, kinda sorta, managing the overarching state of your game, so that was cool. But that was really my big takeaway from that, and it was definitely worth a watch. I just have other things I'd rather build. And regarding this week's featured game dev, I'd like to showcase Studio Primitive, creator of the game Attack the Karens, a fun meme-filled shoot-em-up with high-quality voice acting and a polished story to boot.
Okay guys, this post could really use a boost to the algo.
He's also working on a new game called Boardwalk Builders, an idle, cozy, love, and aptly named building game. I've had the pleasure of playtesting both of these games as they were and are being developed, while finding spectacular ways of breaking the game, even to the point of performing miracles. Miracles! I think I finally understand you, Jesus. This guy writes his own music and does all the art, and I am truly impressed with what he's created. So go check out his games, give him some love, and maybe wishlist his new game if you're feeling cozy. Well, that's all for now. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, thank you for being you.